Hey, beautiful humans. Thank you for tuning into the Love and Life podcast, the podcast where we talk about how to live and love authentically, whatever that might look like to you. I'm your host, Elizabeth Cunningham. Let's dive in. Hey, lovely, amazing humans. I am excited to be talking to you today. And what I wanted to talk to you about is creating an environment for healthy communication in your relationship. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by all of that? Uh, we have generally unconsciously created an environment for communication in our relationships. And so when we start to interact with someone, maybe wherever you met them, maybe you met them through friends, at work, on a dating app, whatever that is, you start communicating with that person. And then as you get to know each other, as you start to date, then the communication that you have shifts, changes, but the entire time we are creating an environment of communication, whether we're doing it consciously or not. We are interacting with people. And I always tell my clients that you're training people around you all the time. So, how you say things, the way that you say things, how you react to other people's communication. It is training people on how they can be around you at any given time. And we can see this more easily outside of ourselves. We see this more easily with other people. So, you have maybe siblings or parents or coworkers or other partners where you know that if you say a specific thing or bring up a specific topic, you know how they're going to be about that. If I bring X topic up, then my mom is going to be really upset. And you know that based off of previous experience. I've brought this up before with her. And so, therefore, I can make the assumption that she will be like that again. And so, your mom has trained you in this specific example how you can be around her. So, and now that is the environment, that is part of the environment of communication in your relationship. So as you're establishing your relationship with someone in a romantic sense, you don't have an entire history with them. So, but you have an entire history of how you communicate, what your triggers are, what your trauma is, and they are trying to figure that out, just as you are trying to figure out how you can communicate with them and how you can interact with them and what they get triggered by and what works and what doesn't work. But like I said, we're not always doing that consciously. It's just something that unconsciously unfolds as we interact with each other. And those tiny little interactions throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your month, then build into the environment for communication in your relationship. And so, one of the patterns that just to give an example, one of the patterns that could be in your relationship is, how do you talk about spending your time together? Some people are a lot more particular about the time that they spend together. And so in some relationships, what you might have found with your partner is that they're very particular about how they like to spend time, when they can spend time with you, how the conversation goes around time. Do they get more upset if you say that you can spend less time with them? Are they more chill about time? So, just as an example of how you are starting to create that environment for communication, you might now know about your partner that if you cancel something last minute, something comes up, you're probably going to deal with an upset person. You're probably going to deal with an upset partner. Or maybe you have a relationship, like I said, where they're more chill. And so if you cancel something last minute and you have a good reason, you're like, my kid got sick or something like that, then they're going to be really chill and really understanding about that. And so, in the case of the person who has a partner where they're going to get upset about that last minute cancel, you're going to feel really anxious around that. Maybe you're already going to be upset and you haven't even had that conversation. Maybe you're going to be worried. Maybe you're going to start being resentful. And that starts to build the environment of communication and what you can and can't say and how you strategize what you're going to say and communicate with a partner. Where in the other case of having a partner that's more chill about things like that, then that's also creating that environment where, maybe you feel really bad because you don't like canceling last minute, but you know, that you're going to be like, hey, my kid got sick. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cancel our date. And that they're going to be totally cool with that. Maybe they will, maybe they'll even ask you if you need anything, if they can support you in some way, if they can run to the store for you. And so your experience, even before you have that conversation, is going to be one of maybe a little bit of guilt because you don't like canceling last minute, but your nervous system's going to be a lot more regulated because you're like, you know what, it's probably going to be okay. They're usually really chill. And so you are going to have an easier time opening up your mouth, communicating the thing, and being able to work through that with your partner. So using this example, it's also going to start impacting. So that again, like look, I want you to look at. I'm kind of backing myself up in my brain here. um, so look at a relationship that you have in your life right now, where maybe you're challenged by communication in this relationship. Maybe it's you have to prep yourself to communicate with this person, or you get really anxious when you know that you need to tell them something because generally their response is maybe either makes you uncomfortable, or maybe it's a little bit more combative, or it's just hard for you to handle in one way or another. You know that you're going to need to prep yourself for those conversations in this relationship. And so in having that example in your mind, I want you to consider that this is now the environment for communication in your relationship. Or maybe you're the person, maybe you are the person that gets upset really easily. And so maybe this is an opportunity to see how you operate is impactful to the people who are trying to communicate with you, and what it might be like. And again, this whole environment of communication can look so many different ways. I'm just using one example of one partner who is more likely to get upset about something than another partner. And so in this example, the partner who's less likely to get upset about something is going to have to maybe strategize more, or think of ways to soften the blow, or maybe they get really so anxious that they put off communicating something because they're like, oh man, like I can't talk about that right now because I can't handle the possible friction that's going to happen in this subject. And so can you start to see how that would build an environment of communication that isn't necessarily workable or healthy? And maybe it's okay. Like I hear this a lot from people where they'll say something like, well, it's okay, or like, I can handle it, or it's not that bad. And I want you to consider that even if you are in that camp, that it's possible for it to be better. It's possible that you don't have to spend all of that energy strategizing. It's possible that this could be something that could be worked through. And I want you to consider what could be possible. Like, if this weren't the case, if it was actually possible for you to have communication without strategizing, without being anxious, without having to put things off, without having to consider the amount of energy that you're going to have to put into it, and maybe you have to wait a couple days to prepare yourself. What if that didn't have to be the case? What would be possible here? What kind of environment for communication would you like to have? Allow yourself to go there. Allow yourself to think outside of your own box. Because when we build this environment of communication, and again, most of the times we do this unconsciously, and since we've done it unconsciously, we don't think about it in this way. We don't think about it as in, oh, this is actually a box that I've created for myself because now this is just how my relationship is. And so I want to, for anybody who's in that position, kind of expand you out a little bit and just think, okay, what could be, if I could wave my magic wand and create a different type of communication environment, what would that look like? How would I want to feel? Instead of anxious, nervous, worried, strategizing, how do I actually want to feel? And in the case of the partner who does get upset more easily, how would you rather feel? I'm making the assumption that you don't want to get upset all the time. I'm making that assumption. And so if you don't want to, get upset all the time, how would you rather feel? What would that be like? What would be possible in that? Because sometimes I think when we are talking about a problem in communication, we talk about the problem, talk about the problem, talk about the problem, but we're not talking about where we'd like it to be. And if we're only talking about the problem, that is just going to continue to perpetuate this problem in this little container that we've created. And so we have to create a point B outside of that container. And that's how we'd like it to be, how we'd like to feel. And I'm focusing on feelings because sometimes when I say how you would like it to be, then you get really stuck on a specific way you'd like it to be. And then you, uh, like, it can only be that way. So when we think about how would we like to feel, would we like to feel relieved? Would we like to feel peaceful? Would we like to feel connected? Would we like to feel like a team? Then inside of that, how we'd like to feel, then both of you can collaborate on, well, what could it look like if we felt that love, connection, peace, teamwork? What would that look like? And start to create from there, and then start to build that bridge from where you are now to where you would like to be. Okay, so what we've got is the environment for communication. And I didn't say this, but what you need to, like, get yourself out of this current environment of communication or expand upon it. Maybe you have an amazing environment for communication right now and you want to make it better. Fantastic. I love that for you. So, having the awareness and the consciousness of the type of environment that you've created and being able to name that. And in naming that environment, again, I want you to go to, how does it feel for you? How does this environment, when you want to have a conversation with your partner or partners, um, how does that feel for you? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel like you're strategizing? Do you feel really peaceful about it? Do you feel confident? Do you feel like it's a healing space? Or do you feel, maybe you feel a little unsafe in this space? That would definitely be something to address. Or maybe you feel a lack of confidence and you'd like to feel more confident. And so, really starting to notice when you want to communicate, how do you feel? What does that elicit for you in your body and your emotions? I highly recommend looking at a emotions wheel. Just Google emotions wheel, okay? Google emotions wheel. And I can put the emotions wheel that I have in the show notes. And just look, be like, does any of this resonate when I think about talking to my partner or partners about difficult topics or about a specific topic that you might be dealing with? How do I feel? And then ask yourself the question, how would I like to feel? And then starting to bridge that gap. Okay, amazing. So that is the main thing that I wanted to talk to y'all about today. Please let me know what you're dealing with. I would love to know what you're dealing with. How are you doing now? And how would you like it to be? Okay. And then if you have any questions around that, definitely reach out to me. And today is Monday, the 15th of May, and I'm hosting a 2023. So if you're listening to this a different year, sorry, it's 2023 right now, currently. This thing about podcasts, they just last forever. So and I'm hosting a event on communication on Wednesday. It is for free. It is a live virtual event Wednesday, May 17th, 2023. It's from 9 a.m. Pacific time and it's going to go to 6 p.m. Pacific time. I am interviewing 12 different experts in communication and polyamory. I am so excited about this. And I always learn so much. I always learn so much in hosting events like this because I'm interviewing experts on these fields, in these fields. And so I get to just sharpen my skills and knowledge during these events as well. And the awesome thing about this event is that we will have live Q&A. And so the flow of the event we'll have two speakers and then a Q&A section, two speakers Q&A, two speakers Q&A, two speakers Q&A. And then at the end, I'm having Kenya K. Stevens from the Progressive Love Academy and the creator of Up Level Communication give a short workshop on her up level communication framework, which is incredible, by the way. I don't know if y'all were at my December summit, but she talked about it a little bit at my December summit. And this is life-changing communication skills. And I have been studying communication and since 2015. So studying communication in relationships, arguably I was studying it before that, but more concentrated in communications and relationships starting in 2015. And I have never found a framework that allows for people's humanity to just exist and be okay. A lot of different types of frameworks, you're really trying to, it's a struggle. It's a struggle to like be the emotional human that you are and operate inside of a communication framework. And her framework in up level communication really is the first framework that I have come across that marries those two so well together. So that's the event on Wednesday. It is free. If you cannot make the event on Wednesday, or if you just want to buy the recordings so that you can watch them again and again and again because they're going to be so helpful and wonderful, the recordings will be available for purchase for 40, well, rather, they are available for purchase right now for $47. And then after the event, it'll take us about 2 days to process those recordings and then get them to you. And then you'll have them forever. It'll be great. All right, beautiful. I love all of you so much. Definitely sign up for the event on Wednesday. I would love to see you there. And if you can't be there, I mean, it's literally 12 experts plus a workshop with Kenya Stevens for $47. Like, that's bananas. Like, I could probably sell this for like $1,900 easy. And like, yeah, so get all of this amazing knowledge for $47, please. Okay, I love you. I think you're great. I think you're wonderful. And I also want to know, I would love to hear your feedback literally on anything. Give me your feedback on anything, because I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you. So what would work best for you? I'm hosting a summit in June. And so what should the topic be? I have kind of an idea of what I want it to be. But again, I'm doing this for you. So I want to know. So we have this communication summit, we have the one in June, and then we're going to actually have another one in August as well. So give me what you need, and then I will provide that to the best of my ability. All right, sound good? Cheers. Beautiful. Love you. Thank you so much for joining me today. What are your takeaways? What is an action that you're going to take that will have this make a difference in your life? However small, take that action. Don't let this just be a good idea. Make that 1% shift in your life today to live more freely and authentically. If you'd like to learn more about my coaching, my classes, or the events that I host, check out my website at www.elizabethannecunningham.com. Until next time, keep loving.